Yeah. Hello, 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 everyone. Dr. Rowena Winkler here. And the time of this recording, it is Friday, Friday, yay, hooray. And it is also day 3 of this challenge. Let's see, make sure my mic gets me here. Just so grateful. Speaking of gratitude, which is day 3, just really grateful to be able to share not only my own personal experiences with perfectionism, but also to share some really amazing experts and other resources that can guide you on this journey that have personally helped me with my pushing past perfectionism journey. And so just wanted to send a final reminder that you will get that resource one sheet sometime either later today or maybe even tomorrow. So if that's something that you're interested in receiving and to get all the resources, I know I love collecting those as well. Feel free to shoot me a DM or shoot me an email. I'll give my contact information at the end of this last day, woot, 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 so that you can have that ready for you. So let us get to our final presentation. Here we are, day 3, gratitude. What a beautiful way to wrap up this conversation about perfectionism, because at the end of the day, the gratitude piece is, in my opinion, so crucial. By understanding what you have right now before you, by staying present and intentional in what you have, by, as shown by the definition here, showing appreciation for what we have and being open to paying it forward, whether that is through sharing what you've learned, whether that's through being intentionally vulnerable and sharing your experiences with perfectionism. Those that ripple just runs, so it can go so wide. We can our impact of that goes so far. So I'm excited to talk about gratitude today. But here's our final reminder, our final what we call this figure of sorts of how this process went through. Your girl's got a doctorate. Like, Dr. Rowena's all about creating frameworks and ways to it's like how my brain it was how I was trained, right? As a PhD. So on day 1, we started with latitude and creating the space, giving ourselves the grace and space to know that this is challenging work, that perfectionism is something that is really that runs deep, that has a lot that goes with it, a lot of baggage that can go with it, right? And then yesterday we talked about attitude, right? And how we can change our mindset, our thoughts, and change our feelings as well when it comes to how we approach perfectionism. We gave some really great examples of defining and reframing perfectionism, thanks to our dear, wonderful role model and mentor to all, Dr. Brene Brown. And then today we're gonna just put it all in a pretty bow, right? As we approach the holiday season, which is one of my favorite seasons. I'm so excited. And I love gift giving as showing my love and gratitude, right? So we're just gonna tie it all together here in gratitude. So what is today's focus? Today's focus is, how can we spot the success and celebrate? Because when it comes down to it, perfectionism, as we talked about yesterday, is this feeling, it's rooted in this insecurity, this inadequacy, this not being enough, not being worthy, not having value. And so through the work that we've done in creating latitude and space, in changing our mindset and attitude, the gratitude is just the celebration and the honoring of ourselves, where we are in our journeys. Because when it comes to a lot of things, whether it's success, whether it is the work that we do, how we look, especially as women. The comparisonitis is so real. And so being able to meet yourself where you are, to literally look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that like I love you and you're amazing and I'm grateful for you, and just knowing that where we are is beautiful and wonderful as is. So a couple of things, right? So I wanted to open this up, and this is something I added last minute because I just thought it was so powerful. I moderate a Clubhouse room every Friday. Clubhouse is an audio only app where you can talk about anything, but our group is a community of wonderful women who speak affirmations, and we all support and love on each other. And one of the women in there, and a good friend, Shirley Dorr, who is amazing, just an inspiring individual in and of herself, right? She talked about something that came through with her therapist, which is, all of us have baggage. All of us have things that we're contending with, whether that is childhood shit, whether it is, financial or emotional or neurodivergency, or things with family or friend, whatever we're dealing with. We all have our baggage, we all have the things we're contending with. But my friend's therapist said, can we just let's just take a moment to toss aside the bags. Like, let's just, even if it's just a moment, right? Let's toss aside the bags to the side. Let's go over there and celebrate the wins. Because here's the thing, we live in a culture, in a society where we're going to the next thing, and certainly as perfectionists, that's a tendency for us, right? That we're moving to the next thing so quickly. We're like, "Yay, hooray, boop, I received this accolade, I did this achievement, I got the degree, I got the house, I got the job. Okay, let me just move and hustle on to the next thing." But to really, again, toss aside everything that's going on. I have to move these up because I gesture wildly, I gesture a lot with my hands. Is to, yeah, let's celebrate the wins. And one of the resources in the one pager is an article from UC Berkeley, uh, from Rachel Goldsmith Turrow. And as I wrote here in terms of the focus, it's about spotting the success, right? And spotting the success, that's just as it says, right? Spot the success. It's not judge the success. It's not deprecating the success or the failure of, or whatever. It's acknowledging the success as is and appreciating where you are on the journey. It's saying, wow, you know what? I thought I would be over here with my to-do list, but I got one thing done every day. And that's really great because I'm a mom and I have all these things going on, right? It's the goal of spotting the success, according to Turo. It's not an evaluation. It's not an assessment. It's not looking back on what you've done and being like, well, I could have done this better. And like, we're not doing a Likert scale. We're creating a rubric for our life. Sorry, I'm using my like, I'm in the middle of teaching, right? So we're not using rubrics with our personal lives here. It's not an assessment. It really is grounding in that gratitude, and it's a form, according to this article, of cognitive reappraisal. So it's, again, what we talked about yesterday. It's a reframing, a reappraisal, a reframing. It's focusing on a different thing, as we talked about. Instead of perfectionism, let's strive toward excellence. And even in this moment, maybe it's not even saying, wow, that was really excellent, but it's like, wow, that was a thing that was done. Yay, hooray, yay, go me. And it's not beating ourselves up if we don't get all the things done. But you know what? You woke up today, you put your feet on the ground, you're here, you're showing up. Like, wow, how beautiful that is. So, just highlighting those wins and celebrating them. When we're such high achievers and we feel this need, this urge to continue performing and to continue producing and to continue cranking out all the things, because, again, tying back to what we've talked about in day 2, it stems from feelings of insecurity and not enoughness. That is exhausting. So really taking that breath, that beat, and acknowledging how far you've come. Because, again, we're oftentimes like looking so far ahead that we don't take a moment to look back and be like, "Damn, despite everything, all the obstacles and challenges, I'm here and I've done these things and I'm so proud." And I know we've talked about the comparisonitis too. It's so difficult sometimes to place and honor yourself where you are when maybe there's distractions or people around you that you're like, "Oh, I'm not like that person." No, you're being you and you're acknowledging yourself and being authentic to you and doing things in a way that resonates and sits well with you and feels good to you. And that's a win in and of itself. To step into your authenticity and power and to truly show up as yourself, even if it's not perfect, but it's like 1000% you, like, man, oh man, that is so freaking powerful. And you know what? It's not only powerful, but it's an inspiration and it's a way like people are watching. That's the other thing that you may not realize, right? Like we're so in our heads and we get so insular and we get so insecure. But when we just try to break free from that perfectionism and just show up as we are and do what we feel in our heart and soul feels right and aligned, like that just permeates and people can feel that. It's not contrived, right? Like people can sense that. That energy is so powerful, it's so potent. Like energetically, like whether it's for clients or friends or partners, right? That's magnetizing. That's the magnetizing aspect of it. And another way, we're all about tools here because we need these tools to help us. Another way that we can look into this, another way that we can um, help guide us on this journey is through affirmation. So I mentioned that I moderate a clubhouse room on Fridays, but we have the room every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the Clubhouse app where we speak life into each other. We speak affirmations and I know that at first it may seem like a silly practice in a way, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to just say these I am statements. But here's the thing, right? Like what we speak and like what we say out loud, like the language that we use, especially when it comes to our self-talk, is so potent and so powerful. It literally like rewires and reprograms your brain in terms of what you want to see um, transpire for you. And so it may feel silly at first, and it's like I don't believe this, but as you know, like the more you say it and the more consistency, and as I talked about before, the more you incorporate that into a morning practice, a afternoon practice or an evening whatever, whatever fits in your day, it 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 then becomes part of your like energetic cellular makeup. Um and so for those of you that are not as familiar with affirmation work, it's literally using I am statements. And here's the other thing, I need to give a shout out to Leo Max, an amazing individual, human. Y'all should check out his work. He's fantastic. His work is called restorative hypnosis. He does hypnotherapy work, but when I was in my coaching certification program earlier this year, he called us out for our affirmations because the other thing too is that clarity in affirmation, right? Like, hmm, I'm trying to think of something. I I am I am attracting money because I feel like money's one that a lot of folks think about. Okay, so is that $5 then? Right? So being intentional and being clear and again, being grateful for what we have, but also knowing that through our thoughts and through our language, we have the power and the potential to magnetize what we desire. But as mentioned yesterday, it those things will come through once we get rid of the the limiting beliefs and the junk that may be getting in the way of our insecure and perhaps shame and guilty feelings. So affirmations are a great practice. They're it's simple in terms of just speaking them out loud. I have a note on my phone with like all the affirmations I've collected. If you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I know I've shared affirmations on my stories, right? They're just beautiful mantras to carry with you throughout the day. And so, that can help you in your gratitude practice as well. Um, the other piece of it with the gratitude is the in the celebration process is creation. And what do I mean by just creativity and creation in all forms. Just being grateful for the skills and gifts and talents that you have and channeling it in a way um that can that's just inspired by your inner muse, right? So this can be art, this can be dancing. I know that was something that came up in our affirmations room, and I just wanted to share this little poem because it had gratitude in it. This was written May 15th, 2020. So this is like in the thick of COVID-19. This is when I was a fairly new mom, like 2 months in, and I was just inspired by my little baby, and I thought this is like another example of how in our gratitude and accepting our perfectly imperfect nature and just honoring the moments, because when we're so when we're so overwhelmed and overcome by perfectionism, we miss the moments. We miss the little things because we're either ruminating about the shit that didn't get done or we're thinking so far ahead and anxious about the shit that we need to do. So let's stay grounded. And one way is through art, through writing, through dancing, through singing, right? I personally, this Pisces gal likes to do all those things. So here's the poem. That big AF intro. All right. I am reborn, seeing the world through your eyes. I am reminded and humbled by the beauty of this life, to not take it for granted and to find moments for gratitude. Thank you, little one, for helping me surrender, to witness your beautiful innocence and experience pure joy. Oh my goodness. I'm just like, I'm getting happy just just because I remember, right? And that's what's so beautiful, this like memory, the sense memory of smells, tastes, sights, sound, right? I know, like, listen, I love food. I'm a foodie. So just creation in terms of baking or cooking or, enjoying time. So creation. And then the last piece that's here, right, is that the receiving. It's so hard for perfectionists to receive because we feel that we're unworthy to receive, right? Like, I should not I got to keep working. I got to keep hustling. Like, I'm not worthy of these good things happening to me. The other shoe's going to drop. Like, I have to keep on going. Otherwise, it's going to end poorly. It doesn't have to be that way. And you know what? When it comes to the divine feminine and divine masculine polarities, right? And that's energy, right? It's like not gendered. There's no like sex attachment to it. But the divine feminine is about receptivity. It's also about creation. But in order to create, like we literally as women create life, but in order that we need to receive and we need to create the vessel, in this case like the womb, right? We need to create the vessel through which we can receive in order to create. So that's part of it. Like, in order to receive more abundance and receive more peace and ease in our lives and happiness and joy and contentment and whatever enter XYZ thing you desire here, we need to be able to receive in that. And that involves like receiving in terms of the surrendering, like understanding that this is all an ongoing, evolving, sporadic process. And again, that goes back, that little diagram I made. That's why it's cyclical. There's going to be moments where we're like so thankful and grounded and in gratitude, but then something happens at work or something happens with family and we revert back to old ways, old habits. And so we find ourselves back again to that latitude piece that we talked about in day one, where we need that space, where we need that grace, where we need to honor ourselves where we are. So just know that this is like part of the, part of our journey as humans here, is to experience all that life has to offer, and there's going to be tough moments. And I talked about that yesterday as well in day 2. The emotions are there, the feels are real. Listen, I know all about it. I mentioned I'm a Pisces. I'm very sensitive. And I'm empathic too. I'm working on protecting my energy, but like woof, right? Like we can get really caught up in our feelings, but by leaning in, honoring that, and then oftentimes looking back on those experiences that were so tough and so challenging, and that's what some of the most beautiful gems and lessons come from. For me personally, I was just chatting about this earlier today. I tell many people when I do all my podcast interviews and whatnot, like the two big moments when it came to me building my business was the death of my father back in 2013, excuse me, 2013, and the birth of my daughter. It was like this death, and these things were so powerful, and they were so grounding, and they were so humbling, and they were so hard. Like you all know, many of you know, if you're part of my community, I went through IVF to have my little girl, and that's not an easy process. If you don't know anything about it, read my blog. Right? And like losing a parent at such a young age, like I was in my 20s when I lost my dad. Um, but now those were such revelatory, transformational moments that now lead me to the work that I do. Sometimes we don't know until much later, but these things, like a lot of this tough crap that happens, and we get through it and it was like, whew, that's done. And sometimes like years later, we're like, oh, okay, that was, that's the thing that's gonna come through here. And it's just a fabulous journey. So just knowing that it's an ongoing, evolving process is so important. And one way to feel less alone in that journey is through community. I referenced the affirmation aunties group that I'm part of on Clubhouse. If you're available at the time of this recording, right, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on today is November 18th. Head over to Instagram. I'm going live with a friend from that group, Bridget Wilson, and we're gonna talk about mindset and everything like that too, right? So finding your people, finding people that get it, that understand, that walk in solidarity with you, that also hold a mirror to you, because we need those friends as well. Like everything can't just be glossed over. Again, we're not bypassing here. It's finding folks that are willing to be like, I'm saying this in total loving kindness, but you kind of messed up there, and that may not be your intention. Having community to hold space for us and to hold us and to see us, because that's part of it too, right? As we talked about with Brene Brown's work, a lot of the perfectionism comes from um, just this identity thing. It's this insecurity and feeling not seen and not worthy. And so finding community and people who can be there for you and hold you and see you as you are is like such a game. It's like amazing. It's a game changer. Like it just changes the vibe and the energy, and you feel less alone in that. So we don't have to be alone. And speaking of which, I'm gonna chat about one of my communities in just a hot second. But I wanted to just bring back the homework, not bring up the homework for this go round, and it's journaling, right? Like a free writing creative creation process. It's a free write, journal, reflection, reiteration, reminder, reprisal of how have your thoughts on perfectionism, how have they changed in the time, whether it's through these 3 days of sharing here, whether it's through your own personal journey over the past years, months, days, whatever. Just it sometimes we don't take a minute, as I mentioned, which was the whole focus of this, right? Is spotting the success, spotting the wins, celebrating yourself, honoring yourself, doing a dance party, eating some bread, Whatever you need to do to, like, make you feel good, that's where that is. Um, and yeah, everything still stands, post in the stories, tag your girl, come hang out. And speaking of come hang out, we have the Inner Muse membership. It's something that I launched back over the summer. It's a community of women. Every month we do moon practices, right? So we had a pretty intense eclipse season. So there are moon practices for the new moon and full moon. I teach a monthly master class this month. This challenge is part of that, because I'm like, with the move in my life, I'm like, I ain't got enough time to teach another class too. But we have monthly master classes every month. You receive a calendar that has what sign the moon is in and how that can help with planning your life and your business if you're a fellow business owner. uh, all of the things, like all of my master classes, even prior to launching the membership, everything that I've done in terms of content, whether it's a worksheet or a class or an offering, all the things, all the videos, all the whatnot, is on a password protected site that you can have, until your membership lapses. And it's in three areas. So we have communication practice, so taking my experiences as a communication professional and professor. The confidence building, which is a lot of the woo stuff. So I've taught some human design classes. This last month in October was exploring your truth with the tarot. So if that's something you're interested in, of course, the astrology stuff as well. And then the last bit is career preparation, which is really part of my, mission, especially helping my PhD friends out there who need support. So yeah, if you're into it and want to try it out for free the first month, you just shoot me a DM with Pushing Past Perfectionism. And yeah, there's a link there. You can also find it by going to rowenawinkler.com under teaching, and you'll see the membership there as well. And then other than that, that's all I got for today. It's funny because I feel like I I felt like um oh, also I realized that I had a different that's funny. I didn't do my other setup. I had just the slides and not me talking. But I I thought that for today I would be more in a celebratory hype mood. But I think, cause I think I, like, got into, and I have notes and thoughts that I wanna share, but I just, maybe it's the grounding of the gratitude. I think that's it. Like, it's just, like, a more grounding energy, and I hope that this has been grounding for you and helpful for you. And if this is something you feel like a friend would benefit from, feel free to share. All of these videos are now on a playlist on YouTube. Um, all of the resources will be there, the meditation from Wednesday, the EFT tapping practice from yesterday, and I will create some journal prompty thing, maybe a worksheet or something, because who doesn't love worksheets? But yeah, this has been amazing. It's been really fun. I enjoy talking about this so openly because it has helped me personally a lot, and my mission is to help all of you. So, with that said, I'm a bit over time, so I'm going to sign off for now. Um, you know, I hope everyone has a good one, and I will catch you hopefully sometime soon. All right, then. Take care. Bye.